welcome inside Redbird Arena. Rocking tonight for the best rivalry in the Missouri Valley Conference. Tonight, Bradley University comes to play the ISU Redbirds. Hi again, everybody. Kurt Pegler, Matt Taphorn with you. It's the War on I-74, round 2, the first meeting of the year, won by the Braves in overtime in Peoria. This is round 2. Always fun, Matt. Let's talk first about the Braves, who are getting consistent front court play from Abaquita and, of course, backcourt play from Rob Dye.
Yeah, Abaquita has really stepped up in their success here as of late. Had 13 points and 13 rebounds in the game in Peoria against Illinois State, and coming off a 14-point performance in the win Saturday against Northern Iowa. Also leading the Braves in scoring honors that ball game was Rob Dye, also kicking in 14 points. He had 19 points in the last outing versus Illinois State, and everybody remembers the big three-point shot that he hit here at Redbird Arena to win the ball game last year.
Yeah, he's a guy that loves to play in big games, and this is a big game, and Therese Bryson is a big-time player, scored the first 15 points against the Braves in Peoria.
That's right, he ended that ball game with 27. He's also coming off a 31-point performance against Creighton on Saturday night as well. He's going to get much more concentration from Bradley tonight. When you talk about the Redbirds, you also have to talk about P.J. Smith, excuse me. He scored 12 points in the game in Peoria, has had big games this year. He's been up and down for a freshman. That's typical, but they're needing a big game out of him tonight.
It seems like it's been a different hero every night out when these two teams meet. Who's the next hero? We'll find out over the course of the next 2 hours. Stay tuned. Bradley and ISU up next here on CBS 31. Now as the War on I-74 Part 2 is ready to commence. It's Bradley and Illinois State live here on CBS 31 from Redbird Arena. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. We'll start with the visiting Bradley Braves, who come in with a record of 11 wins and 11 losses, 7-4 in the conference. Rob Dye and Eric Roberson, that outstanding backcourt. Both are seniors playing in their final Redbird Arena ball game. Jerome Robinson is also there. Abaquita and Reggie Hall round out Jim Molinari's starting 5. Meanwhile, the ISU Redbirds come into tonight's game 7-15 overall with a 2-9 Missouri Valley Conference mark. The backcourt led by Therese Bryson. Bryson scored the first 15 points of the game in Peoria last month. Sean Jepson is there. Rich Byers starts at center along with Ryan Crowley, and for the second straight night, Chad Mazanowski gets the start. He started on Saturday against the Creighton Blue Jays, and he'll go for the Redbirds in the starting 5 here tonight. Tom Richardson, of course, coaching in his first year for the Redbirds, and Jim Molinari coaching in his 9th year for Bradley, winning for the first time at Redbird Arena last season. And Coach Mo is trying to win for the second consecutive year. In fact, it would be Bradley's first time ever winning back-to-back games at Redbird Arena. They've never won 2 in a row since the arena opened here in 1989.
Well, it's a tough place to play, and even though Redbirds are having a down year, they still defend their home court fairly well. They played some of the top teams in the conference very well here, beat Southwest Missouri State, had Creighton really in a corner before they were able to get out of it the other night in Saturday's ball game. And I'm sure being here tonight against Bradley, this is going to be a very exciting ball game.
Bradley is 2-9 all time here at Redbird Arena, but they do own a 3-game winning streak against the Redbirds. The all-time series is led by the Braves, 51-38, and Bradley has either way, all 3 won by Bradley.
And you could say that for a lot of the games the Redbirds have played this year. In 6 losses that they've had in the Valley this year, out of the 9, they've been decided by 6 points or less. So, very close games, but, a veteran team like Bradley wins those games, and an inexperienced team like Illinois State tends to lose those games. We'll see if this one's a close one again tonight.
Tom O'Neill, Mike Sanzier, Paul Jansen, the officials for tonight's game. Bradley in the red uniforms with white trim. Illinois State the exact opposite, the white uniforms with the red trim. And we are underway as the Braves control the tap. It's Jerome Robinson working the baseline. His shot is up and in the first 10 seconds. It's 2-0 Braves.
Great drive there by Jerome Robinson. He gets up in a hurry, and he's very athletic. Good look for Bradley to get him to go into the basket early in the ball game.
Now Therese Bryson's first shot is short, tipped out by Mazanowski, and Eric Roberson goes and gets, and tiptoed on the end line. It's going to go back to the Redbirds.
What a play by Roberson. He was guarding Therese Bryson in the corner, and he's the one who made the play on the ball, on the loose ball off the rebound, as 2 Illinois State players were going after it, and he's the one who ends up with the ball.
2-0 in favor of the Braves. Ryan Crowley to bring the ball up the floor against Jerome Robinson. Bryson scored the first 15 points against the Braves back in Peoria, but he missed his first shot here. We've got a whistle. It's the first foul of the night. It's going to be whistled against Bradley.
Little push in the back that time by Bryson. He's going to draw a lot of attention for Bradley in this ball game, and was able to draw the foul there against Roberson.
Crowley to trigger now. Into Bryson, pump fake on Roberson, hangs, fires, missed the shot. Mazanowski, the offensive board. He's fouled by Kowita.
Nothing.
Mazanowski working the offensive glass, and Kowita got him on the arm, and he'll send Chad Mazanowski, who's a 64% free thrower, to the free throw line.
Nice follow-up there by Mazanowski. He was very active in the game in Peoria. Played well in the game Saturday night against Creighton as well, and he's earned some starts here as of late and has really produced for the Redbirds.
Yeah, coming off an 8-rebound performance against the Blue Jays. 8 points and 8 boards, and those 8 rebounds constitute a career high. He's 1 out of 2 from the foul line, and the Redbirds are on the board. It's 2-1 Bradley as Dye brings the ball across the timeline now.
Already a different start than in Peoria, as Therese Bryson scored the first 15 points in that ball game. Chad Mazanowski broke that string early on.
Kowita working on Byers now. 15 on the shot clock. Dye lost the dribble. Gives it up to Reggie Hall now. 8 to shoot. He works on Mazanowski. Hands off to Dye. Now it's Jerome Robinson. His jumper's up and down, and he has all of the Bradley points. It's 4-1 in favor of Bradley.
Yeah, good cut that time by Rob Dye away from the ball, cut to the basket, and he drew the attention as Jerome Robinson was able to free up out on the perimeter from about 16 feet and knock the shot down. Big shot that time by Robinson.
Robinson's only averaging 5 points a game. He already has 4 in the first minute and a half. Bryson thought about it, gave it up to Jepson now with 13 on the shot clock. Here's Byers now. He backs it on Hall, draws a double team. Crowley with 7 on the shot clock. Hangs, fires, drew the contact and the basket. No foul called. They'll continue to play.
Tough shot that time by Crowley. There was a lot of contact on the play, but he stuck with it and was able to get the ball in the bucket. Good, strong move.
Crowley has a knack for those acrobatic shots around the basket. He likes to draw the contact, and he finds himself in the air changing a shot quite a bit.
Well, he goes inside strong when he takes the ball in there. And when he scores, that's because he's going to the basket.
4-3, Bradley a 1-point lead and the basketball. Just underway here at Redbird Arena, and glad you're alongside for Illinois State and Bradley here on CBS 31. Reggie Hall now. Bounce pass down to Dye. Shot high off the glass, can't get it. And Sean Jepson towers over Abba Kowita to get that board.
It was a good recovery that time by Therese Bryson. As Dye was freed up momentarily, he got back to the ball in a hurry.
Crowley had his shot partially blocked as Jerome Robinson got a piece of it. Here's Roberson now, hands to Dye, who trails the play. His 18-footer is up, no good. A couple of Braves fight for it, and it's Mazanowski that comes down for it for the Birds.
Yeah, Reggie Hall and Abba Kowita were both going after the ball that time, and Mazanowski trailed the play, and they just put it right in his hands.
Bryson pull-up jumper, and he's on the board now.
That's the part of the game that Therese Bryson has improved on the most this year, is being able to score off the dribble. In the early games this season, he was much more effective just standing and shooting facing the basket.
Rich Byers bodied up on Abba Kowita and whistled for his first foul. Kowita has really stepped up his game, Matt. Obviously, as we said in the open of the show, he's drawing a lot more attention defensively from teams.
And that's an area of the offense that Jim Molinari has wanted to get more production out of, was inside, and he's really produced that.
Robinson missed the floater in the lane. He made a nice move to get open, and now the Redbirds back in transition with a 1-point lead. Jepson gives it up to Crowley. Now it's Byers, open for 3. Missed the shot short on the front of the iron. Robinson the long rebound now. He gives it up to Eric Roberson down the lane, and Bradley's back in front by a point.
Well, you can tell Bradley wants to get the ball up and down the floor in this ball game. The Redbirds aren't very deep. They want to work them a little bit, as they did in the game the other day and Saturday against Northern Iowa, who only typically plays 5 players.
Ryan Crowley almost lost the ball out of bounds. Loose ball on the floor, and Mazanowski comes up with it. And that time Bryson threw it away.
Yeah, he's going against one of the best defenders in the Missouri Valley. And Bryson that time, typically all he needs is a look at the basket and he'll let it go. But Roberson anticipated that, got a hand up, and caused the turnover.
6-5, a 1-point Bradley lead here in the first 4 minutes of action at Redbird Arena. Jerome Robinson curls, missed the shot. Ball on the floor. Kowita comes up with it. Now gives it up.
Shots, he gets that open of a look at.
His first 3 points. Rob Dye's in the scorebook. Bryson dropped down to Mazanowski.
That's another part of Bryson's game he's improved greatly on, is finding the open man when he's taking the ball to the basket. He's drawn so much attention defensively that leaves other guys open, and a good dump down on that pass.
Roberson's pass went off a foot and came back at him. As we approach the 15-minute mark left in this opening half. Reggie Hall spins, missed the shot off the glass, got the offensive board, but stepped out of bounds. We've got a timeout on the floor, so we'll step away for the first time tonight. 15:07 to go first half. A good start. It's 9-7. Back here at Redbird Arena, Illinois State trailing Bradley 9-7. Nice drop-down pass here, Matt, from Bryson to Mazanowski.
The attention he draws. Kawita steps up, Dyke comes in. It leaves Mazanowski wide open on the baseline. He does a good job of going to the basket, catches the feed from Bryson. He's had a couple of good assists here in the early going. Hasn't been able to get much of a shot or look at the basket with Roberson really guarding him all over the floor.
Andy Strandmark checks in for the Redbirds. He makes his first appearance. Bradley keeps its starting five on the floor. We've played exactly 5 minutes. It's 9-7 in favor of the Braves. Jepson open momentarily for the three. Drives to the hole, missed the shot. And a foul on the Redbirds.
Good drive that time by Jepson. Took it all the way to the basket, went up strong. Just fell up a little short. And good job by the Redbirds of going after the rebound hard. You had both Strandmark and Mazanowski go after the ball, and the foul was called on Strandmark. But again, good aggressive play by the Redbirds.
Dye and Roberson, the seniors, leading this Bradley backcourt. Arguably the best in the conference, in a conference laden with outstanding guards. Jerome Robinson from the outside, and he has 6 of Bradley's 11.
Wow, Robinson is more offensively inclined in this ball game than I've seen him throughout the whole year. He's really coming out and looking for his shots in this ball game.
Strandmark, the nice lob to Mazanowski. In traffic, scores off the glass.
Well, I was surprised he first caught the ball and then was able to even get it up at the basket. He was shooting from behind the basket when he laid that one up.
I agree with you, Matt. Robinson appears to really be looking to score tonight. Here's Roberson. Lost the ball in traffic. P.J. Smith's long lead pass is picked off by Reggie Hall. Back come the Braves. They have the numbers 4-on-2. In the corner is Eric Roberson for 3. Off the back of the iron and tipped, and Strandmark controls. And now the Redbirds come back with Bryson.
Yeah, the Birds really got away with one there. P.J. Smith threw that pass and really didn't have anybody to go to.
And Sean Jepson ties the ball game. He continues his sizzling hot shooting here at Redbird Arena.
And a great shot fake to set it up, too. He knew Roberson was flying at him, just got him off his feet, and took it up to the basket.
Kawita draws the foul, and he's backed Mazanowski down and scored off the glass, and he's got a chance for a three-point play.
And Tom Richardson over there talking to Andy Strandmark. You've got to double down on the post. That's a common theme for the Illinois State Redbirds defense. But look at Kawita. He just backs himself in there, gets so close to the basket, goes up strong and lays it in. Good strong move by the senior.
Substitutions now. Joe Hine has come in for the Birds. He replaces Chad Mazanowski, and Eric Roberson has gone to the Bradley bench, and David Selby, who's been quite a spark plug for Bradley, comes onto the floor along with Eddie Cage. Kawita's free throw is no good. It's 13-11 in favor of Bradley, and the Redbirds have the basketball. Jepson, Bryson, Hine, Mazanowski, and P.J. Smith on the floor. The pass is picked off by Selby, who goes all the way down and lays it in.
Yeah, and once again, a situation where Therese Bryson was open momentarily, tried to force the issue, had Kawita on him. If he would have just waited a moment, he could have set himself up for an open shot.
Selby, Kawita, Robinson, Dye, and Cage are the 5 on the floor for the Braves, and that's exactly what David Selby has done for Jim Molinari. Come off the bench and spark the team. Jumper that goes down is good for Andy Strandmark, showing his range. Now quickly on the other end, it's a jam from Robinson.
He got up over the top of Strandmark that time. What a great move that time by Robinson. He's just taken over this game offensively.
Jerome Robinson, whose career high is 15, already has 8 for the Braves. He has played very aggressively here in the early going for Bradley. Jepson in the corner now. He feeds P.J. Smith, who's double-teamed in the lane. His shot is up and rejected by Kawita. Back comes Bradley now. It's Dye ahead to Selby, who goes around Jepson, laid it high off the glass. And the Braves are scoring in transition, and Tom Richardson wants to talk it over.
Yeah, they're forcing the issue offensively, more so than I've seen them do all year. They're just taking it to the basket. They're getting out, filling the lanes, and the results are there.
12:08 to go first half. Bradley zipped out to a 6-point advantage. Great start for junior Jerome Robinson of the Braves, Matt.
I tell you, he's, as we touched on, much more active than we've seen him. The Braves lead by 6, and they've outscored the Redbirds 6-0 in fast break points, and you can see right there they're getting out, filling the lanes, and getting to the basket in a hurry. That's creating some scoring opportunities.
Robinson missed out on last year's game here at Redbird Arena. He was scratched the night before the game, and so didn't play in the ball game at all, and said he was looking forward to coming down and playing in Redbird Arena and playing in the atmosphere, and obviously he's off to a great start.
Yeah, he has not hesitated, and he's coming off a big game as well against Northern Iowa, and he's contributed offensively, and that's a missing link that they need. They've got Dye and Roberson and even Kawita, and if they get guys like Robinson to step up as well, they're very effective.
Ishmael Joyce in the ball game now for the first time for the Redbirds. That's him with the basketball. Bradley in a zone here. With Therese Bryson out of the game. No, I check he is in the game. With Jepson out of the game. But there's a foul that time as Selby's too aggressive.
Well, that's a good foul in that situation. You always want to see the players be more aggressive. That time Selby tried to knife through and come up with a steal.
Officials timeout on the floor. 11:51 to go here till halftime. It's Bradley 19 and Illinois State 13.
Stretch here for the Missouri Valley Conference as teams position themselves not only for a chance at the title but also for the Missouri Valley Tournament in St. Louis.
19-13. Bradley with the lead now as Selby guards Ishmael Joyce. Now it's Dye on Therese Bryson. What a great matchup that is all night. And Selby picked the passing lane for the second time, and he takes it in for another layup. We've seen it twice in the last 2 minutes.
That's a dangerous pass across the top like that, and he just sits back and waits and anticipates the pass, and that's the second one he's picked off going the other way, and the third one he almost picked up the foul on. Now he's going to get a 5-second.
Smith down low. His pass intended for Strandmark was picked off by Jerome Robinson, and the Braves' aggressive defense is paying dividends now. But Eddie Cage stepped on the baseline, lost track of where he was at.
That's 5 turnovers in the ball game for the Redbirds now, and that's something they need to keep at a minimum to have any kind of a chance in any of the ball games they play in, and silly mistakes like that are going to cost them easy points.
Bradley with 4 steals on the night already. Illinois State with just 1. That has contributed to this 21-13 Bradley advantage. Here's Joyce now. Hop, skip, and Jeff Rabu just checked in the game, snuffed the shot out from behind.
Yeah, Ishmael Joyce, that's definitely not his area to be in. Amongst the tall trees, he's not going to score in there too often.
Robinson to Dye. His shot is short, and it's Mazanowski clearing for the Redbirds.
Good hustle that time by Jepson to recover to the shot. He's out of position momentarily because he turned his back on the ball. Dye was able to get open from three-point range.
Strandmark again from the outside. He's knocked down a couple of jumpers.
Good confident look out there by the freshman from Geneseo. Steps up from about 15 to 16 feet. Knocks down a big shot.
A 3-second violation whistled against Bradley, and that'll be the 4th turnover for the Braves. Ryan Crowley checks in for the Birds. He replaces Ishmael Joyce, and now Eric Roberson comes into the ball game to give Rob Dye a breather. And Kevin Clancy comes into the ball game for the Braves as well. And the last time Illinois State saw him, he was hitting a game-winning shot at Carver Arena.
Well, I'm certain that he'll draw a little bit more attention than he did in that ball game. He had 3 out of 5 3-point shots in that game. A bit of an oddity here in the first half. We've got Therese Bryson on the bench. He played all 45 minutes in that game in Peoria. Has played in 5 ball games wire to wire. They need his offense out on the floor.
Yeah, he's averaging almost 36 minutes per game. But Bryson getting a breather on the Redbird bench. Here's Crowley with the basketball. Now it's Smith. Sean Jepson took that extra little half step and was whistled for the traveling violation.
Yeah, he actually caught the ball as he was coming off the screen and then took 2 additional steps to get square for the shot. Official right on top of the play made the call.
Bradley with a basketball and a 6-point lead, 21-15. Jeff Raby fights for the loose ball, and he lost it on the floor. Turnover now. Here's Jepson all the way down. He may have palmed it. Yes, turned it over.
I thought Jepson kept his hand on top of the ball that time instead of putting it on the side. That was a questionable call that time by Paul Jansen.
So turnover on one end for Bradley and a turnover on the other end for the Redbirds.
That has been an area of emphasis this year by the officials in that palming situation, and Therese Bryson gets called for that more often than not, but that time it appeared as Jepson kept his hand on top.
Rob Dye's out of the game now for Bradley, and Abakuita has re-entered. The Redbirds showing a zone defense now with Dye out of the game. Here's Clancy. Dangerous pass, nearly picked off by Crowley, but he just got enough on it to knock it out of bounds. And now we'll see Rob Dye, so his respite on the bench lasted all of about 15 seconds.
And we'll see if the Redbirds change their defense. It looks like they'll stay in that matchup zone. Keep an eye on Rob Dye.
Here's Roberson for three. He missed, and it's Clancy fighting for the loose ball, but he threw it back in bounds right to Chad Mazanowski.
Nice hustle by Clancy on the missed shot by Roberson. One of the guys you don't think would come up with that rebound, but it's just a hustle play.
Last year, Roberson hit all those three-point shots against the Redbirds, but didn't convert there on his first three-point attempt tonight. And Strandmark again from the outside.
A little hesitation that time, just kept his position there. As the defense loosened up, he was able to get a good look at the basket and knocked it down.
8.5 to play here in the first half, and the Redbirds are within 4 now at 21-17. Kawita left open. Mazanowski closed the gap and came up with a block and threw it down court. It's a foot race. Jepson outruns Clancy. Gives it up to Crowley now. Back to Jepson.
Great awareness that time by Mazanowski. Blocked the shot. Didn't have a play, so he just threw it down to his own offensive end.
What a play by Chad Mazanowski. Here's Jepson with Roberson on him and 16 on the shot clock now. Strandmark lobs down to P.J. Smith, who spins and scores.
Boy, P.J. Smith is so strong inside. Went up with the left hand. Was able to draw the contact and still knock it in. Didn't get the foul, but a big bucket for the Redbirds to pull within 2.
And Jim Molinari wants a 20-second timeout. He doesn't like the fact that the momentum is swung in favor of the Redbirds.
And that's exactly what happened. They built an 8-point lead. Strandmark hit a couple of big shots. Good play by Mazanowski. And then P.J. Smith inside catches the pass from Strandmark. Tough pass and lob over the defense. Abakuita's right there, but P.J. Smith, a very good athlete inside, gets up well off the floor, lays it up with his left hand and knocks it down.
That entire play started by the defensive effort by Chad Mazanowski on one end, and P.J. Smith converts on the other.
Yeah, it took a little while to develop, but the Redbirds just stayed with it and were able to get a bucket.
Well, it's a game of runs, and Illinois State has answered Bradley's run and pulled to within a bucket now at 21-19.
Redbirds appear to be in a box and one situation now with Jepson trailing Rob Dye all over the floor.
Reggie Hall bounce pass down to Kawita. Ball stripped out of his hands by Mazanowski. Another active defensive play by Maz, who's played very well here in the first 13 minutes of this one. Officials timeout on the floor. We'll step aside. 7:27 to go till halftime. Back here at Redbird Arena, Chad Mazanowski with a big defensive play here, Matt.
Yeah, this is the play that eventually led to the big P.J. Smith bucket to draw within 2. But not only did he get a piece of the ball, he was able to control it inbounds and throw it down the floor. The Redbirds eventually ended up with it. Good play by Chad Mazanowski there.
Bradley has the basketball now with Rob Dye to trigger. In the ballgame, Kawita, Robinson, Hall, and Selby for the Braves. Meanwhile, it's Crowley, Mazanowski, Jepson, Bryson now back in the game along with Andy Strandmark. We approach the 7-minute mark left here in the opening half. Robinson, pull-up jumper is short as time was expiring on the shot clock, and since it didn't draw iron, it's a shot clock violation.
And that was the most indecisive that Jerome Robinson has looked so far in this ball game. Rob Dye had a look originally, but passed on it. Robinson actually had an open shot, but just wasn't sure about whether or not to take it.
P.J. Smith has now re-entered the game, sending Ryan Crowley to the Redbird bench. That's him with the basketball, guarded by Dye. Now Strandmark, who's had 3 jumpers from about 15 feet so far for his 6 points. Jepson for 3.
Yeah, that play right there is what at times frustrates Jim Molinari about David Selby. Jepson gave up the ball, and instead of staying with his man, knowing that he's a good shooter, he just kind of faded in the lane. Jepson just fouled the ball over and got an open three-point shot.
And the Redbirds have their second lead of the night. It's 22-21. Koita works the baseline, and he draws the foul. A nice pump fake. Both Strandmark and Mazanowski got a piece of him. We'll see who they whistle with the foul.
That was a good pass in from the top of the key from Jerome Robinson. And a good foul in that situation by the Redbirds. You don't want to give away an easy 2. As Robinson just snaps the ball down. Koita gets him off their feet and draws a foul. But again, that situation, you don't want him to have any chance of getting the ball in the basket.
The foul whistled against Strandmark. And Koita to the free throw line where he's just 56%.
He had a little body English on that free throw.
This guy just loves to play. Born in France, he didn't start playing basketball till his sophomore year at New Trier, so he's still a relative newcomer to this game.
And he's probably put on 50 pounds.
No question.
Since I remember in his senior year in high school. So he's really developed into a nice player for Bradley.
And he gives the Braves the lead back after making both free throws with body English, 23-22. Here's Strandmark now on the low block.
I tell you, Strandmark is playing beyond his years. He got the ball in on the block against Koita, the senior for Bradley, kept the ball up high, which is exactly what you want your big men to do, and got the ball up in the bucket.
Angelo Flanders is at the scorer's table. He'll check in for the Braves on the next whistle. Redbirds have a 1-point lead, under 6 minutes to go until halftime. Here's Selby, pull-up jumper. He drew the foul. He's going to get to the free throw line.
Yeah, P.J. Smith that time was caught out of position because he originally went for the steal. And when he was trailing the play, he caught David Selby on the right hand or right arm as he was going up for the shot. Out of position, you see P.J. Smith kind of go out of the picture as he comes back in, catches him right on the shoulder there. David Selby, I think, exaggerates it a little bit to draw the foul, but he'll go to the line for 2.
He's the junior college transfer out of Chesapeake, Virginia. He seems to be a lightning rod for the fans who follow Bradley basketball. More of them want to see David Selby get minutes. Jim Molinari trying to balance the fact that he has been lost on some occasions defensively, but you certainly can't complain about his offensive numbers. He's averaging better than 10 points off the Bradley bench.
He's a very explosive player. He creates a lot of offense out of his defense, runs the floor very well, scores in transition. It's just defensively, sometimes you're going to have to live with some of the mistakes that he'll make.
The crowd is applauding Andy Strandmark as he goes to the Redbird bench and Rich Byers re-enters. It's 25-24, Bradley a 1-point lead, 5.5 minutes left here in the opening half. And Rich Byers had that ball out of bounds. It was saved by Jepson, but it's Koita that comes up with it. Can he stop it from going out of bounds? He does. He laid it in.
And Rich Byers is basically walking around out there as everybody else is hustling after the ball. Good hustle by the Braves and a poor job by Byers of going after the ball.
Koita's basket gives Bradley a 27-24 lead. Jepson from the corner missed the shot, and it's Robinson that clears.
Therese Bryson has been extremely quiet as of late for the Redbirds. You're not seeing very much out of him offensively, and they really need something out of him in this ballgame if they're going to have a chance to win.
Robinson has been a bit quiet, too, since that hot start. Dye lost the dribble. There's 13 on the shot clock now. Selby, his hook shot high, rolls in off the glass.
And the Braves are getting contributions from uncharacteristic sources here. Jerome Robinson and David Selby leading the way. 17 points between those two. And Abba Koita chipping in with 6.
Selby now with game-high honors with 9 points. And again, as Matt said, combined with the 8 from Jerome Robinson, give the two of them 17. P.J. Smith shot an air ball there, and Rob Dye comes up with it.
A lot of contact there, no call. The officials letting them play.
Now it's Dye drawing contact.
Same thing
there.
at the other end. There was a lot of contact on that play. There hasn't been a lot of whistles blown in this ball game.
No, only 8 fouls called total between the two sides, and we've played 16 minutes.
And right there again on the screen on the ball, Koita jumps out. Doesn't allow Bryson to get a look at the bucket.
12 on the shot clock now. Here's Bryson with Dye on him. Works around a screen from Byers. And now it's going to be a hand check called against Rob Dye.
Bryson's drawing all kinds of attention out there, and they're not letting him get a look at the basket at all. And Dye, with Roberson on the bench, is drawing the defensive assignment on Bryson.
Officials timeout. 3:42 to go till halftime. Bradley's opened up a 5-point lead. It's 29-24 in favor of the Braves. And a lot of that, again, as Matt has said, has come in transition and come off steals. And it's come by the way of David Selby, who has 9 points, and Jerome Robinson, who has 8. So it's not Dye, nor is it Roberson.
No, and I tell you what, the other thing that's interesting about this ball game is every loose ball that you see on the floor, Bradley's going after with 2 guys at times, whereas Illinois State's just kind of walking around and not coming up with the ball. And that's really creating a lot of scoring opportunities for the Braves.
A reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll sit down here with the Illinois State University president, Dr. Victor Bashini. He'll join us courtside for a chat. We'll also have a CBS 31 News update, and we'll have your halftime stats, all coming up in 3 minutes and 42 seconds of game clock. 29-24, the score here. Bradley with a 5-point lead. And you talk about margin of victory. These games are always close. The final margin of victory for either team in the last 9 games has been no greater than 6 points. And the biggest lead so far tonight has been 7 points, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah, I believe it was 8 early on. The Redbirds closed the gap, but again, contributions out of uncharacteristic sources here in the early going for the Braves. David Selby has really been a spark off the bench. Offensively, he's leading the way with 10 points. Robinson got him started with his early 8, and Cueto, as we talked about, has been a force inside. He's got 6 points, so between those 3 players, you got 24 of the 29 points. Rob Dye with a 3-point basket, and Jerome Robinson, Eric Roberson are the only other 2.
We want to remind our viewers that the episode of JAG originally scheduled to air tonight will be shown Saturday night following The Profiler and the Lon Kruger Show at 12:05 a.m. So set your VCRs to catch the JAG episode that was originally scheduled to air tonight. 29-24 here at Redbird Arena. Bradley with the lead. The Braves have led pretty much throughout this first half, save for 2 1-point Illinois State leads. But the Redbirds have the basketball now and try to cut into that 5-point deficit. Sean Jepson, Therese Bryson, Chad Mazanowski, Andy Strandmark, and Ryan Crowley are the 5 on the floor for Illinois State. It's Ed Cage, Rob Dye, Angelo Flanders, David Selby, and Jerome Robinson for Jim Molinari's Bradley Club.
Braves are very active defensively. That's what created a lot of scoring opportunities for them early on and in the ball game on Saturday against Northern Iowa.
Jepson is short on the shot. Selby clears. Now ahead to Cage, who lost the ball out of bounds. And that's turnover number 8 now for the visitors.
Yeah, typically that's not where Ed Cage is going to hurt you, is in transition. Just try to go up with the shot before he had control of the ball.
We approach the 3-minute mark left in this first half. Still a 5-point Bradley advantage. Here's Strandmark again from the outside. He continues to impress, and Andy Strandmark is 5 out of 5 from the field for 10 points.
He's been automatic, and the thing that's encouraging to see is he's not hesitating out there offensively. He's going right up, gets a look at the basket, and goes up.
And we've got a holding foul whistled against Illinois State, and I believe it's whistled against Jepson.
That's going to be called against Andy Strandmark. He was tied up with Angelo Flanders there on the block. It looks like Flanders actually took down Strandmark, but Strandmark was whistled for the foul. It'll be his 3rd, so that's a big loss for the Redbirds as they were trying to protect him from getting that 3rd foul before the first half was over.
So Strandmark, now strapped with those 3 fouls, goes to the bench. Rich Byers is back in the game. Here's Selby off the inbounds and give David Selby 12 first-half points.
As things spread out there on the inbounds play, Selby just cut right to the basket. The Redbirds were a little late getting to him, but that's that quickness scoring for you as well.
Bryson now right around Dye, pull-up jumper, and he drew the foul that time as Dye was a step slow.
That'll be the 2nd foul on Rob Dye. But again, the attention that he's going to deserve or get out there from the Bradley defense is going to cause these situations. Rob Dye was originally beaten on the play, tries to recover, catches Bryson there on the hand. The shot is short, but he'll go to the line for 2.
Bryson 79% from the free throw line and continues to rack up some points, and he is now 100 points shy of 1,000 in his career. He'll do it in 2 years. Only one other Redbird can say that. That guy's name is Doug Collins. 31-28 now. the Redbird lead, but Dye answers a 3 on the other end.
Yeah, that was the matchup zone again by the Redbirds. That's tough to play against Rob Dye. He's going to find the seams, and once he gets his feet set and shoulder square, he's going to knock that shot down.
Here's Bryson now. He skips it down to Crowley, who scores. A nice pass again from Bryson, who's done that twice tonight.
Yeah, again, the attention he draws when he goes in the lane allows him to hit the cutters going through the bucket.
Back to a 4-point Bradley lead. Selby's in trouble. Somehow he got the ball to Koida. How?
As he was falling down, but Koida, as he was driving the baseline, went right to the basket, as he is supposed to. Gets rewarded for his effort.
Boy, has David Selby played a first half. 36-30, the Bradley advantage now. 90 seconds to go here till halftime. Bryson. Over Robinson, a 3.
He doesn't need a lot of room, and Jerome Robinson was right there on him. But Therese Bryson, when he can feel it, he'll let the ball go.
It's turned into a gunfight. Both gunslingers just shooting bullets at one another. 36-33, the Braves with the lead. Here's Selby now, working on Bryson. It's Dye who draws some traffic and a foul.
Again, the Redbirds trailing on the play. It'll be the 7th team foul. Send Rob Dye to the line for a one-on-one opportunity. And Jepson's trailing the play here, gets caught behind Rob Dye, gets a little shove there. That's the call on Jepson. That'll be his first foul.
And Dye, who's made 23 consecutive free throws, gets a 1-and-1. Now he's made 24 in a row. The senior from Springfield is wrapping up his stellar career for Jim Molinari. Made them both. And the Bradley lead now is 5 at 38-33. And now Reggie Hall comes back in the ball game along with Kevin Clancy and Eric Roberson.
Good substitution here by Jim Molinari to get Rob Dye out of the ball game with 2 fouls. Can they afford to have him pick up a 3rd one before the first half is over?
So it's Clancy, Hall, Robinson, Roberson, and Cage on the floor right now for the Braves. Meanwhile, Jepson, Mazanowski, Byers, Bryson, and Crowley are the 5 for the Redbirds as we have less than a minute to go here in the opening half. And a 5-point Bradley lead. Ten seconds on the shot clock. Bryson for 3 again is short and cleared by Roberson.
Yeah, that one was probably a little step too far out and coming off the dribble. Didn't really get a chance to get his shoulder square and set for the shot.
There's a 5-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Jepson now comes out to check Clancy. You see the game clock in the corner. There's 13 on the shot clock now. Here's Reggie Hall. Feeds Clancy for the runner in the lane. Missed the shot. Tipped up. No good. Tipped in that time, and they're going to give it to Roberson. And Bryson at the horn. A 3-ball is off the back of the iron. So a good flurry for the Braves as Eric Roberson tips in the Clancy miss and gives Bradley a 7-point halftime lead, 40-33. Halftime at Redbird Arena. Bradley runs out to a 7-point lead at the intermission, 40-33. Kurt Pegler along with Matt Taphorn here. Matt, the story of the game really has been the Braves' defensive tenacity and able to change some of those, take some of those turnovers and change them into points.
That's right. They're leading the game 10-0 in fast break points. But not only that, but points in the paint has been a big difference in this ball game. Bradley taking it to the basket much more so than the Redbirds offensively, leading that category 18-6.
Off the bench, David Selby, the leading scorer for the Braves, and in the entire game has 12. And Andy Strandmark already has a career-high 10 first-half points, but he's on the bench with 3 fouls. That's going to be a big factor as we come back. We'll sit down with Dr. Vic Bashini, the ISU president, when we come back. Halftime here at Redbird Arena. Halftime here at Redbird Arena, Bradley 40 and Illinois State 33. We are privileged to have the Illinois State University president, Dr. Vic Bashini, courtside with us, who he's a big Redbird fan. You're here at almost every game every time I see you.
Oh, yeah, we go to all the games. And we take all our kids to all the women's games because there's less people. It's easier to get around and have a ball.
You're mobbed a little bit like Elvis, I guess, at those games.
Oh, no, the women's games are great.
Let's talk a little bit about what's going on campus. I know you've got Founders Day coming up soon. You also have a Heritage Celebration in the next week or so. Maybe you can kind of bring us up to speed with what's going on there.
I guess the biggest thing coming up is we have Judith Ivey, the actress, who's one of our graduates, is coming back to receive an honorary degree. So we're all excited about that. And she's going to actually spend 3 days on campus working with our theater students and working with our graduate students.
That's great. That's great. And then next week when you've got the Heritage kind of days, the Heritage Classic, or I should say the Heritage Celebration, that's a big thing for the
We've got a whole week of activities to celebrate. This is our 144th year, so it's a big deal for us.
Yeah. What about the construction that's going on campus? It seems like you've really had a lot of that in the recent years.
Yeah. We have about 5 different projects going on right now. On the quad, our biggest project is the new Performing Arts Center, and that's going on schedule. We also have a new theater at Ewing going up out at our Shakespeare Theater, which would be very nice. Then we also are trying to work on an in-exchange project. We're trying to make School Street into a park, which will bring kind of the quad back out to the community.
Great.
So there's a lot going on right now.
I guess in our last 15 seconds, the sports fans want to know about the hires. You've hired a new football coach and a new volleyball coach. Things are kind of changing here at Redbird Arena.
Yeah, I think we finally have all our coaches this week, and I think it's going to be an exciting year.
Take a look at some of those first half highlights.
Explosive contribution off the bench by David Selby. He hit all 5 of his shots for 12 points, and you see he goes high off the glass here to lay in 2 of those 12 points, and then again on an out-of-bounds play. Just a hustle play, knifes through there, beat Sean Jepson to the bucket to lay in 2 more of those 12. And then on the defensive end, you kind of get the good with the bad with David Selby. Offensively, he's very explosive, but defensively, he gets hung up behind the screen, allows Sean Jepson to get a good look at the basket for 3 points. And then for the Redbirds in the first half, their leading scorer, Andy Strandmark, with 10 points on 5 of 5 shooting, positions himself at the top of the key area. Most of his buckets were outside of the lane, and that's an area the Redbirds were deficient in the first half, trailing 18-6.
Boy, the first half stats, look at those shooting percentages. 59 for Bradley, 58 for ISU. Both teams doing well at the free throw line. 2 of 5 for the Braves and 2 of 7 for the Redbirds from three-point land. Bradley out-rebounding the Redbirds by 3, and the turnovers are about even. The leading scorers, again, Andy Strandmark leads the Redbirds. He has 10. Tyrese Bryson has 7. David Selby with 12 off the Bradley bench, and 3 of the Braves players are tied at 8. And now it's second half action. It's 40-33 in favor of Bradley as the Redbirds will start the basketball down by 7. And Eric Roberson immediately with another steal. All the way down on Bryson. He missed the shot, though, and Crowley clears. Now it's Bryson on the other end. He finds Jepson in the corner in front of the Redbird bench. Now it's Crowley behind a screen from Strandmark. He drives down the lane, scooped it up, and it's going to be an offensive foul on Crowley.
Yeah, Crowley should have dumped that one off. He had Chad Mazanowski sitting right there on the block, wide open. He tried to take it all the way from the top of the key to the basket. Watch Chad Mazanowski just standing right there. Rob Dye gets himself set. Nice defensive play there by the senior for Bradley.
Dye, Hall, Robinson, Roberson, and Coeta, the same 5 that opened the game for Jim Molinari, start the second half. Mazanowski, Jepson, Strandmark. There's Roberson. He missed the shot, knocked around, and cleared by Mazanowski, who hands to Crowley now.
Strandmark did a good job of getting up and bothering the shot that time by Roberson. Probably shot a little higher to try to get it over the outstretched arm.
Mazanowski the miss, Strandmark the rebound, but he threw the ball out of bounds, and Tom Richardson grabs it.
And that's 2 turnovers in the less than a minute here by Andy Strandmark. That's something he needs to just control his emotions here in the second half and try to gather himself and make sure he has the pass in hand before he's trying to make a great play.
P.J. Smith into the game, replacing Mazanowski. And that's been the bugaboo for the Redbirds. There's been turnover trouble. I mean, when you take a look at the record, it doesn't look very good at 7-15, but 6 of the Redbirds' 9 Valley losses have been by 6 or less points. So they've been in games, and if you figure if they take better care of the basketball, they win some of those. Another foul this time is going to be on Strandmark, and that's number 4, just a minute 5 into the second half.
And that's a situation where he got himself out of position, trailed Coeta coming down to the block on the post. As the pass comes in, he just grabs him from around the front and picks up the foul. Again, that's a freshman trying to guard the senior in Coeta. In that situation, maybe not holding back and realizing he has 3 fouls, picked up a silly 4th.
So the Redbirds' leading scorer is now on the bench with 4 fouls. He has 10 points, which is a career high. Here's Roberson now. Inside to Hall. Hook pass down to Dye, who sneaks the pass to Coeta.
Yeah, right there, that was created because the Braves kept moving the ball. Hall realized he was double teamed, got it on the baseline to die, who fed Koita, who was his defender, was double teaming Reggie Hall initially.
42-33. The 9-point Bradley lead is the largest of the basketball game.
Braves seem to have picked it up a notch defensively here, and now the Redbirds are having a little trouble getting into their offensive set.
Bryson feeds Smith, who gets hammered down low. And the foul is going to be called against Jerome Robinson, which is his first.
The drive in the lane, you see two men guarding Bryson again. As P.J. Smith gets the ball, Jerome Robinson fouls him from behind.
We've played 2 minutes here in the second half. The Redbirds still looking for their first basket after halftime. Bryson spins on Roberson. Pump fake. Fadeaway jumper. Front of the iron, no good. Roberson clears.
Good defense that time by Roberson. Again, the bigger defender against Therese Bryson. That's caused him problems more often than not again in the games for Illinois State.
And that's a turnover for Bradley as Rob Dye changed his shot in air, changed his idea to a pass, but nobody was looking for it. Jim Molinari not too happy with it.
Yeah, he thought momentarily that Therese Bryson had recovered off of the screen and was going to get through the shot, and he actually had a more open shot than he thought.
Byers hands to Bryson now. Redbirds still looking for their first second half points. Bryson is short, but P.J. Smith there to clean up.
That was just the right place at the right time. That time, two Braves are going after the rebound, came up short.
And now a traveling call whistled on Jerome Robinson right in front of Jim Molinari.
May have been a little shove that time by Sean Jepson, who was trying to come out and deny the pass. And I think he assisted Roberson a little bit that time on the travel.
42-35, the Braves advantage now. Illinois State with a basketball. Here's Smith now. He's guarded by Hall. He finds Crowley, who's guarded by Dye.
That's where they need P.J. Smith, right there inside.
And he draws the foul on Koita, and he's going to get a pair of free throws.
Yeah, P.J. Smith has been their most effective player creating offense inside since L.D. Murdoch went down. Even Andy Strandmark is better face-up shooter, but here you can see he takes it in the lane, draws the foul against Koita. That'll be Koita's second foul. Good action that time by P.J. Smith to get to the bucket.
Smith is averaging 9.5 points a game, and when you take a look in the last 10 years of significant freshmen at Illinois State, there are only two other freshmen who've averaged in double figures their freshman year, Dan Muller and Rico Hill. So he's just half a point off of being in some pretty select company. But he missed them both. Ball tipped out of bounds to Bradley.
Yeah, a couple big misses there. They had an opportunity to pull within 5, but again, a freshman out on the floor in a tight situation, a tough ball game, needs to step up and make those plays.
Smith a near steal as he guards Reggie Hall aggressively. Here's Koita with Byers on him. Roberson, pump fake to the corner now. It's Robinson who drives and is going to get to the free throw line, it looks like.
And Sean Jepson again out of position defensively as he's trying to come out and recover on the drive by Jerome Robinson. Standing straight up. Good job by Robinson to get around him, and then you can see the bump from behind as he tries to go up with the shot. The ball doesn't go down, but he'll go to the line for 2.
Robinson is from Canada, averaged better than 14 points a game this past summer, helping the Canadian team to a 5th place finish in the World University Games, and gave this young man a little shot in the arm confidence-wise.
Anytime you can play in international competition, it's a great experience.
Bradley is just a 64% free throw shooting team, the last place team in the conference in that category, but the Braves have been outstanding at the line tonight, 8 out of 9. Taking advantage of their foul shots, and it's a 44-35 lead. It's Smith down low again.
Yeah, Reggie Hall at 6'7" is going against P.J. Smith, who goes about 6'4", 6'5", but P.J. Smith is very strong, gets low, and really can elevate to the basket when he gets the ball.
Selby missed the shot, tipped high. It's Koita that comes down with it, pump fake, and off the glass and in. And Abba Koita is in double figures now with 10 points.
Yeah, more second chance points and points in the paint by the Braves. They've been doing it all night long.
Bryson looking for just a little seam in that Bradley defense, but can't find it. P.J. Smith's been the Redbirds' most effective player here in the second half. Crowley on the feed from Byers.
Byers was really hesitant on that whole offensive sequence, but the Redbirds came out of that with an easy lay-in by Ryan Crowley as they just kept moving offensively.
46-39, a 7-point Bradley advantage. That was the Bradley lead at halftime. On the baseline, a nice lay-in that time from Reggie Hall.
Great awareness that time by Reggie Hall. He got the ball on the block, and he saw the double team coming from the high side, took it baseline, was able to get the lay-in.
And now Crowley scores off the glass, and again, we're in a shooting match with both teams' offenses clicking. Now on the other end, it's Robinson who puts it up and draws the foul.
Yeah, and Ryan Crowley that time makes the basket and turns over to the bench and asks to come out of the ball game. And while he's doing that, Robinson gets behind him and gets open for the transition break, and eventually gets called for the foul. He'll go line for 2 more free throws. It's the little things in this ball game that make a difference, and that's just a little thing right there.
The Braves have made good on their foul shots now, 9 out of 10, as substitutions come in. Eddie Cage comes in for Bradley, sending Abba Kawita to the bench. Meanwhile, Chad Mazanowski, Marcus Betts will come in for the Redbirds. And Robinson, as we said, started the night averaging just 5 points per game, and now has 12 after making that free throw. He's one of 3 Braves in double figures. He's one of the reasons why Bradley has a 9-point lead with 14:53 to play. Trying to win for the 4th consecutive time against Illinois State, and for the 2nd straight year here at Redbird Arena, after Jim Molinari was 0 for his first 7 trips here to Normal as the Bradley head coach. And now Bradley showing some full court pressure, and Bryson lost the ball on the floor, and the Braves couldn't come up with it because Reggie Hall's foot was on the line.
But once again, you see 2 Bradley players on the floor, and Marcus Betts standing there looking at the ball. This has been a common theme throughout this ball game. Bradley just wants it more. You see Hall going after it, Robinson getting after it, Marcus Betts standing there reaching over the ball.
Half-court trap now employed by the Braves. It's Betts and now Bryson. Bryson trying to create. Draws the contact, no foul called, he missed a shot. Hall clears now for the Braves.
That's a frustration shot right there by Therese Bryson. Instead of letting the offense come to him, he's trying to take charge.
Selby may have traveled. Yes, he did.
Yes, that's one weak area in David Selby's offensive game is his shot from the perimeter, and that's why he's trying to take it to the basket. Just try to get it going a little too quick that time.
Sean Jepson now in the Redbird lineup. He replaces Therese Bryson. It's been a frustrating night for Bryson, who scored 27 against the Braves in Peoria, but just 2 out of 8 from the floor and 7 points here at Redbird Arena tonight. .14 minutes left in this one. 50-41. Bradley with a 9-point lead. Here's Jepson now. Cage steps out to greet him. 10 on the shot clock. Byers down low to P.J. Smith, who missed the shot. Mazanowski had the ball knocked out of his hands. Now Dye leads Selby, and again he traveled as he grabbed that back foot.
But again, the offensive pressure in transition that Bradley's putting on the Redbirds is just relentless, and David Selby is almost waiting down there for the rest of the team to catch up to him.
Jim Molinari telling David Selby to just relax and let the game come to him. 11 turnovers now on the night for the Braves. The Redbirds, by the way, have 12. And the Redbird faithful trying to get the ISU offense in gear. The Birds appear out of sync here in the second half. Here's Betts colliding, missed the shot, got his offensive board, put it back up, and drew the foul on Reggie Hall.
Good effort by Marcus Betts. Just a note on him. He scored 5 points on the season for Illinois State, so not necessarily a scoring threat out there for him, but when you give this kind of an effort, usually it pays off for you.
So Betts goes to the free throw line. He's a walk-on who's the brother of Albert Betts, who played on the Redbird football team in 1992. Ryan Crowley now will check in the game, and he'll replace P.J. Smith. So the Birds have Jepson, Crowley, Mazanowski, Byers, and Betts on the floor. Bradley counters with Dye, Robinson, Cage, Selby, and Reggie Hall. But now Abba Kawita comes in, and he's going to replace Hall.
Bradley just has so much more depth than the Redbirds, too. They've got players coming off the bench. They can give them a good lift. Illinois State's lucky to keep the team together out there on the floor they have.
Here's Dye now. Lost the ball on the floor, stripped, got it back, hit the side of the backboard with that shot. Now the Redbirds in transition. Crowley brings the ball up tempo up the floor, looking for help. Out to Jepson. Open look for three.
Good inside-out action that time by Ryan Crowley. Forced the action by taking the ball to the basket. Was able to free up Jepson for the little step-in three-point shot. Got his feet set, shoulders squared, knocked it down.
And a 20-second timeout called by Jim Molinarias. The Redbirds have pulled within 4 now, thanks to that 3-ball by Sean Jepson. It's now 50-46. And as down and out as the Redbirds appeared a couple of minutes ago, Matt, they're just 4 down.
And again, Ryan Crowley takes it inside, was able to draw Jerome Robinson in on him as he's taking the ball to the basket. Kicks it back out to Sean Jepson, who hits the big 3 to pull the Redbirds to within 4.
Boy, Jepson has just been red hot. In the 8 games at Redbird Arena that he's played in this year, he's shooting 58.5%. He loves the shooting background. He loves the rim. He's slightly off that tonight as he's just 3 of 6 for 50% from the field. But his 8 points have helped the Redbirds claw back within 4.
Both teams dead even in field goal percentage at 54%. It's been a fairly even match ball game. See if the Redbirds have anything left towards the end.
Here's Cage now in the give and go with Roberson. Cage misses the shot, and Jepson clears for the Birds, who have a chance now to pull to within 2. Here's Crowley. Betts looked down low to Mazanowski, but thought better of it and gives to Crowley. Now back to Mazanowski as we approach the 12-minute mark left in this one.
Birds just don't have very many offensive options out there on the floor right now with Bryson and P.J. Smith and Andy Strandmark on the bench.
And Byers really has not looked to score tonight. That's him with a basketball. 10 on the shot clock now. He works his way to the baseline, throws up a shot, and it goes in. He was looking for a foul. He didn't get it. But the unorthodox shot goes down, and the Birds are within a deuce.
A lot of contact there, but good strong move by Rich Byers to get the ball in the basket. That looked a little lucky from my standpoint.
And now the crowd reawakens. Here's Rob Dye around a screen for 3. And it seems like night in, night out, when the Braves need a big basket, number 4 comes through.
That was a tough shot. Dye really didn't have himself square to the bucket. He caught the ball turning and was able to get a good look, and with good follow-through was able to knock it down.
Crowley is fouled as he worked the baseline that time, and the Bradley defenders couldn't get over.
Abba Kawita with the foul. That's his 3rd. But again, good things happen when you take the ball to the basket, and that's typically what you see out of Ryan Crowley.
Jeff Raby will likely check in for Abba Kawita when we come back. 11:17 to go here in regulation. Isn't very pretty, but Rich Byers' first basket of the night has pulled the Birds within a deuce.
Yeah, a lot of contact here. A lot of it was initiated by Byers. He just kind of throws up over his shoulder without even looking at the basket, and it goes in. The prayer was answered.
Then Rob Dye came down on the other end and knocked down a 3 to make it a 5-point game, and that's where we stand right now at 53-48. This was the next sequence for the Braves when they got a hold of the basketball.
Yeah, watch Dye when he catches the ball. He looks out of the corner of his eye to see his defender trailing him. Gets himself squared after turning to catch the ball and knocks down a big 3-point shot.
Back to live action. Bryson, offensive foul as he lowered the shoulder and rammed right into Eric Roberson.
Yeah, and you can just see that Therese Bryson is so frustrated out there. Can't get an open look. But a lot of that is created by the defensive intensity that Eric Roberson puts on you. And he does this to team it night in and night out. And Therese Bryson, with his scoring ability, is definitely going to draw some attention.
Roberson needed a standing 8 count there for a minute as he's slowly walking back down floor. Bradley with the basketball and a 5-point lead at 53-48 as we approach the 11-minute mark left here at Redbird Arena. Jeff Raby in the ball game. That's him with the ball. He gives it up to Dye now with Bryson on him. The pass into Kawita knocked right back to Dye. And another foul, this time whistled on Therese Bryson on the defensive end.
Yeah, that'll be Bryson's second foul within the last 20 seconds. So Rob Dye trying to put a little heat on offensively, taking the ball to the basket.
It's the 6th team foul now whistled against the Redbirds, so the Braves will be shooting in the bonus. 4 team fouls whistled against Bradley. And a foul again on Bryson as he and Dye collided. So Therese Bryson has picked up 3 fouls in the last 15 seconds of clock time.
There's a situation where the players got tangled up and Dye went to the floor. That'll be a one-on-one opportunity now with almost 11 minutes into the ball game, and the Braves shooting 10 out of 11 from the free throw line so far. This could be a huge factor.
Well, Dye is the best free throw shooter on this team. He's shot 92% in the Valley game, so as much as his teammates have struggled at the free throw line, Rob Dye has not. And just as we say that, he misses one, and Abba Kawita just grabbed that rebound, and now Dye for 3. He missed the shot, and Byers had the ball knocked out of his hands to Masanowski. Now it's Jepson in transition all the way down. His pass is picked off by Roberson, his second steal of the night. And he's all the way down, and he's going to get to the free throw line.
The Redbirds find more ways to try to give the ball back to the Braves. You know, on the rebound, they don't even go after the ball, and then Roberson, his hands are just so quick, and was able to get the ball away from Jepson on the penetration on the transition. That goes the other way and picks up the foul against Rich Byers. Now he'll go to the line for 2 shots.
Roberson now with 2 steals tonight is just 2 shy of passing Billy Wright for second on Bradley's all-time steals list. 1 more ties Wright, and the second will give him sole possession of second place behind Hersey Hawkins. And Roberson, who is just a 56% free throw shooter, knocks down the first one. The Braves have really done well at the foul line. Second free throw on the way is good, and the Bradley Braves are 13 out of 15 from the free throw stripe tonight. This is a 64% free throw shooting team that has really shot the lights out from the line tonight, 87%. And the lead is now 56-48. Here's Byers, backs in on Kawita. Kawita came away with it as he snuffed that ball right out of Byers' hands.
Yeah, Byers is not a back-to-the-basket offensive player, but a good defensive effort that time by Kawita. Just sat there and waited until he went up, was able to get a hand on the ball.
Dye almost lost the ball out of bounds. It's Clancy now with Jepson on him. 15 on the shot clock. Dye again. His pull-up jumper is no good. Tipped around. Kawita tries to come down with it. And it's Bryson. A whole lot of pushing and shoving going on and no whistles. Here's Jepson on the other end. His shot is no good. But Roberson hit the backboard on the way down, and that's going to be a goaltending.
Well, at this point, the Redbirds will take a basket any way they can get it. A lot of action at the other end. Looked like Rich Byers may have held Abba Kawita. Redbirds came away with the ball, and in transition, they finally get rewarded for a basket. Even though it didn't go in, Eric Roberson tries to catch the ball on its ascent to the bucket. It's called for the goaltending.
Reggie Hall now comes in to replace Abba Kawita. And Kawita goes to the Bradley bench with 12 points and 5 rebounds. He's played well yet again for Bradley. Rob Dye left open for 3 in a zone defense, and the Redbirds never saw him. It's hard to miss Rob Dye on the floor, but the Redbirds did on that defensive sequence.
P.J. Smith just entered the ball game for Marcus Betts. Betts was guarding Rob Dye. As they came in, P.J. Smith thought they were still in man-to-man. The rest of the team was in a zone defense.
And Chad Masanowski drove to the baseline and dribbled the ball on the end line, and the Redbirds have turned it over again. 15 turnovers now for the Redbirds, and the wheels have come off here in the second half. The Birds down by 9 appear completely out of sync. Here's Roberson now. And a foul away from the basketball whistled against Bradley.
A lot of screening activity away from the ball. Jeff Raby's going to get called for the foul as he was trying to free up both Dye and Kevin Clancy. The Redbirds come away, see if they can cut into this 9-point lead.
Eric Roberson is following Therese Bryson all over the floor as the Birds try to get the ball into their sharpshooters' hands. Now they do. Switch out on defense. It's Reggie Hall who backs off, and Bryson missed the three, and Raby clears for the Braves.
Good rebound that time by Raby, fighting off Chad Mazanowski. Bryson got the look he wanted, wasn't able to connect.
Roberson for three. He missed the shot, and the rebound goes clear out to P.J. Smith.
That would have been a dagger right there if he hit that shot. It would have been a 12-point lead. At this point the Redbirds are at, I'm not sure they can come back from that.
Mazanowski traveled, and the Redbirds have turned the ball over 16 times now here in this basketball game.
It's just one after another, and they're finding different ways to turn the ball over each time down the floor. But every mistake just seemed to be compounding the next time down the floor.
Reggie Hall now backs in on Strandmark, who's playing with 4 fouls. It's Jeff Raby clearing and scoring.
Good effort by Raby to get around Chad Mazanowski. Mazanowski gave up the inside position. He was able to get the rebound and lay it back in.
And Tom Richardson calls timeout. A 30-second timeout whistled by Richardson of Illinois State, and it's an 11-point Bradley lead.
Yeah, when the Redbirds cut the lead from 50 to 48, they've since been outscored 11-2, so the Braves have done a better job of protecting that lead here, and Reggie Hall goes up with a shot. Good defense by Strandmark with 4 fouls. But Raby gets inside position, grabs the rebound, keeps the ball up, and lays it back in.
Jim Molinari's been looking for that kind of production out of Jeffrey Raby all year. When he recruited Raby out of junior college, Raby led the nation in junior college Division II rebounding. He had the total rebounding lead in the country last year, but really has not transformed that into the Division I hoops so far for the Braves. But a big basket there for Bradley.
Oh, with his frame, that's one thing he's done well is rebound. It's just they haven't gotten the offensive production out of him that they would have liked.
Here's Smith now. Gives it up to Jepson. His shot is up and missed off the back of the iron. Loose ball on the floor. It's Dye that comes away with it. Ahead to Hall. It's a 2-on-1. He may have traveled. He did. And now there's an official's timeout on the floor with 7:42 to go here. Bradley's in control with an 11-point lead. Forced 162 turnovers and turned those 162 turnovers into 157 points. So the Braves have a very good ratio of points to turnovers when they come up with them. And certainly they've bothered the Redbirds here tonight. Bryson's back in the game. That's him with the basketball. That's a 3-ball that goes down. He shot it over Jeffrey Raby.
Yeah, and that's a mismatch that the Redbirds want. A screen on the ball. If Bradley's going to switch that like they have so many times in this ball game, Bryson doesn't have to be looking at the basket when he lets it go, and Raby was kind of caught asleep there on the play defensively.
Bryson in double figures now with 10 points. Clancy, entry pass to Hall. He had his pass picked off. It was intended for Raby, and Betts stepped in the passing lane and came away with it.
Better job by the Redbirds of helping down in on the post. As the ball came down in, they rotated down and came up with a steal.
And Eric Roberson popped an elbow at Therese Bryson as he went by him, and he's whistled for the foul.
That's only the 16th foul now on the Braves, so the Redbirds will have the ball out of bounds. Again, the attention that Therese Bryson draws, that time Roberson was caught out of position, was whistled for the foul in the ball game. That's his second.
Right now, the Redbirds have 3 players in double figures. Strandmark, Bryson, and Jepson each with 10 points, but the Braves have 4 players in double figures, led by Rob Dye's 15. And there's the 17th turnover for the Redbirds. Dye now, it's to Roberson in the corner. 6.5 minutes to go in this one. It's a 61-53 Bradley advantage. The Braves with a basketball now. Roberson fouled that time by Jepson.
Yeah, that's a silly foul in that situation. The 9th foul now by the Redbirds, but a guy's going away from the basket, 25 feet away. Just establish defensive position, get ready to play.
And now Ed Cage comes in the game for Jim Molinari. He'll send Reggie Hall to the bench. And again, the free throws, which have been an Achilles heel for Bradley throughout the season, have been a good thing for the Braves tonight. They're 13 of 15 from the foul line as Roberson goes there now. And Bradley will be at the free throw line for the rest of the night. He missed it, but Abba Koita comes up with the look, and now a 3-ball from Dye is no good, and Therese Bryson comes away with it, and then he's fouled. And Koita is whistled for his 4th.
You know, there's just another hustle play. The Braves didn't take advantage of it. Rob Dye got a good look at the basket, and then Therese Bryson was able to catch the rebound off the 3-point miss by Rob Dye and gets the foul against Abba Koita, his 4th.
So Bryson to the free throw line now for the Redbirds. He is Illinois State's best free throw shooter at 79%. He'll shoot 1 and 1. Bryson's points have been hard to come by for Tom Richardson's team tonight. Bryson opened the game in Peoria, as we said, scoring 15 straight for the Redbirds. But after that free throw make now, he just has 12 tonight, and we've played 3/4 of the basketball game.
Bryson's a very streaky player. He can put points on the board in a hurry, and like he did in Peoria in the early going, was on fire. He's been known to do that in the late minutes of the ball game as well.
We approach the 6-minute mark left in this one now. Robinson gives up to Roberson, and now it's Dye in the corner. Bradley with a 6-point lead, 61-55. 9 on the shot clock now. Dye had the ball stripped, but it went right to Koita, who laid it up and in.
There was a foul on the play, too. Not called by the official. Andy Strandmark caught him on the way up, but Koita's just been very active inside. Was rewarded there with the lay-in.
Abba Koita had 13 points against the Redbirds in Peoria. He's got 14 now, but he just drew his 5th foul. A pump fake on Therese Bryson, and Koita hammered him way out beyond the 3-point strike.
Yeah, again, this screen on the ball. The Redbirds trying to get the mismatch. Koita leaves his feet. You don't get that call all the time. You see a lot of guys try to force the issue offensively. Sometimes the referee won't give it to you. That time was pretty obvious. Sent Therese Bryson the line for 3. People may remember in the overtime game over in Peoria, he did that same thing. Got a shot fake in the air, and Jerome Robinson was guarding him. Got fouled and actually tied the ball game with 3 free throws.
It was a very critical play at the end of that ball game. And now Koita goes to the Bradley bench. He's the last Brave to register a double-double when he had 13 points and 13 rebounds against ISU, and he leaves this ball game with 14 points and 6 rebounds. And Jeffrey Raby's been summoned from the bench to replace Koita.
And even though Koita fouls out of this ball game, they've still got, Eddie Cage inside, Jeff Raby, even Angelo Flanders and Reggie Hall. They've got some depth on this team inside, and Koita's played so well as of late. It is a big loss, but they can replace him.
Now the Redbirds have to take advantage of these free throw opportunities because they have not had many good looks at the ball offensively. So Bryson missed the first. He's going to get 3 total. He made the second one. And here's his 3rd. That's good too. So Bryson makes 2 of 3. He has 14 points now. He leads Illinois State in scoring, and it's a 63-57 Bradley lead with the Braves holding the basketball.
Since Marcus Betts was inserted in the ballgame, his sole purpose has been to shadow Rob Dye wherever he goes, and he's done an admirable job of that.
P.J. Smith comes up with a steal, and he lost it out of bounds. The ISU fans wanted a foul as it appeared that Rob Dye and P.J. Smith collided there at midcourt.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact there as P.J. Smith came with the ball. Look from this angle. See if Rob Dye gives him a little shove here in the back. That's kind of an inconsequential play in that case.
20-second timeout now called by Jim Molinari as he'll talk over strategy. 5:10 left in this one. It's 63-57 in favor of the Braves. The Redbirds 2 or 3 times, Matt, looked like they were just about dead in the water, but they've hung around, and when you're at home and you're within striking distance, you've always got a chance.
And they've done that several times here. They did it with Indiana State. They did it with Southern Illinois. Got behind by double digits and tried to come back, and in each case fell short. And those were 2 of their 6 losses they've had in the Valley by less than 6 points. But again, in those cases, they just, fell behind by too many points, and it was a little bit too big of a mountain to climb. And now even down by 6 points, Bradley has 13 seconds on the shot clock to see if the Redbirds can get a stop defensively.
10 now on the shot clock. Cage hands to Selby, who's in the game now. 6 to shoot. Long screen pass over. It's Robinson into Raby, whose shot is up and in, and the least likely of all characters you would think on the floor to score for Bradley does.
But they ran the shot clock down to the last second. Good offensive possession by the Braves.
Bryson, his 3 is no good. Eddie Cage rips down the board for the Braves, who come back with the lead, 65-57 now. Selby in the corner now. It's Jerome Robinson. Airballed it. Raby traveled.
Yeah, even though Robinson missed the shot, it just poor transition defense by the Redbirds and matching up. You get a situation where it's 5-on-5. You beat the team down defensively, but don't match up and get the guy who's facing the basket.
Bryson now working on Jerome Robinson. Lost the dribble, needs help. Strandmark gives it up to Jepson now. Under 4.5 to go. Bryson, scoop shot, can't get it to go, and it's P.J. Smith that comes up with it. Now it's Bryson for 3 from the corner.
Contact after the shot, too. As we mentioned, Bryson can get hot in a hurry. He knocks down a few shots. He's going to be a thorn in the side for the Braves here in the last 4 minutes of the ballgame.
Dye around a screen. 12-footer is short, but he got his own rebound, and they'll reload the offense.
And as the ball comes off, the Redbirds just stand around, and the Braves are the one who hustle after the ball. And with under 4 minutes to go in the game, you need to come up with every loose ball.
The Redbirds have only been out-rebounded 7 times this year, but they're being out-rebounded by the Braves tonight, 26-24. And this second chance possession is a big one for Bradley. Selby, pull-up jumper over Jepson is no good, and it's Andy Strandmark, the rebound for Illinois State. The Redbirds with the ball now, trailing by 5. Bryson for 3.
Oh! That one was from about 23 feet. He doesn't need a lot of room. This could be interesting down the stretch.
A monster 3-ball by Therese Bryson has ignited this crowd and pulled the Redbirds within 2 at 65-63.
Therese Bryson is just taking over here, and he can do that in so many games. Watch how far out he is. He's a good 5 feet beyond the 3-point line. Just gets position, doesn't really look at the basket. Good screen that time by Andy Strandmark. Hits nothing but net. Therese Bryson has just lit it up here recently.
Bryson now 4 of 7 from 3-point land. Give him 20 points on the night. And most of it, as Matt said, has come in the last couple of minutes. It's a different story with this guy.
He has single-handedly gotten the Redbirds back in this ballgame. Scored all of their last 13 points.
Yeah, he had 7 points at halftime. He has 20 on the game in the last 13 for the Birds. And now Bradley with the ball. Ahead by 2, 65-63. Backdoor to Ed Cage. He missed the shot. Bryson works the baseline, draws a double team. Skip pass out now. Jepson faked the 3 to the baseline. He draws a double team now. 2.5 to go. Bryson works on Rob Dye. Lost the ball on the floor. Jepson come away with it. 14 on the shot clock. 9 to shoot. Bryson wants to go one-on-one. Gives it up to Byers. Pump fake. 3 on the shot clock. Bryson!
Oh, my! And in the ensuing transition, Marcus Betts trying to keep the ball out of the hands of Rob Dye that he's been doing such a great job of over the last 5 minutes of the ball game. Gets whistled for the foul, and Rob Dye will go to the line for 2 shots.
This three-point shot is a total bailout 3, and that had to be a 30-footer.
And only 1 second on the shot clock when he let it go.
And again, Dye was fouled by Betts in the backcourt. And so that's why Dye's at the free throw line. Betts now goes to the bench in favor of Ryan Crowley. Dye makes the first one. We're tied at 66.
Yeah, that's a tough call that time on Betts, and Tom Richardson is a little upset with him, but he did an excellent job on Dye while he was in there.
And Dye calmly makes both free throws. And he gives the Braves a 1-point consecutive points for Therese Bryson, and this 3 is from outside McLean County.
You know, it's unbelievable the range this guy has. And that's just a shot. That's not a throw. And with 1 second on the clock, he nails that shot. That put the Redbirds up by 1 point just momentarily, though, as Marcus Betts fouled Rob Dye on the ensuing inbounds play. Rob Dye calmly sank 2 free throws to put the Braves back up by 1.
Well, we thought we might have a fantastic finish, and when it was an 11-point Bradley lead with 8 minutes to go in this game, it looked like we wouldn't get a fantastic finish. But that has changed. Another timeout, a 22nd timeout whistled by Tom Richardson.
Little chess game going on right now between Richardson and Molinari. That time the Braves came out in a 2-3 zone. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to man-to-man as Tom Richardson's going to be setting up a play to go against the zone defense.
Therese Bryson with 23 points as the game's leading scorer. Rob Dye of Bradley has 17. Abba Kawita has 14 for the Braves. However, he has fouled out.
You know, the Redbirds have done this so many times this year, is dug themselves a hole and taken everything they could to get back in the ball game and made some fantastic plays. You know, you wonder whether or not they have that many plays in their arsenal to keep it going.
2 minutes left in this one, and now Bradley does come back out on defense in a man-to-man. Here's Bryson. Working on Hall. Hangs, fires, missed the shot. Strandmark puts it back in.
Ed Cage was guarding Strandmark on the play and came over to help out on the driving Therese Bryson, and it left Strandmark open for the rebound and putback.
Here's Dye in traffic. He missed the shot, and Strandmark the board. He's fouled.
Less than a minute and a half left in the ball game. We'll see what kind of nerves the freshman has. Dye trying to draw the contact there as he's going in, left the ball a little short. Strandmark went up strong for the rebound and was able to come away and draw the foul.
Strandmark has only been to the free throw line 16 times this year. He's made 10 of his 16 free throws. So it's a rarity to see him at the foul line.
It's just like the shots he was hitting in the first half. Just totally confident. Steps up and knocks it down.
Made one, missed one. It's a 2-point game, 69-67. Here we go again, folks. A foul whistled on P.J. Smith as he reached in on Hall.
That'd be 2 shots for Reggie Hall, probably the best player on the team to foul if you're sitting in the Redbird seats, but see if the player for Bradley can step up and hit these 2 big shots.
The junior forward from Chicago is just a 42% free throw shooter.
Big shot, big shot.
Bradley started the night, as we said, 64% as a team in free throw shooting. Now, they have improved in their last 6 games. They've shot 71% from the line. And Reggie Hall made them both. Bradley is 17 of 20 for 85% from the foul line tonight. And now a near steal. The ball is on the floor to Bryson and Roberson. It's Roberson who comes up with it and calls timeout.
Yeah, once again, Bradley's on the floor getting the ball, and the Redbirds are standing around watching. Just token pressure, and the Redbirds can't handle it.
Reggie Hall is still on the floor. Not quite sure if he took a knee to the head or something, but he's still down.
Yeah, anytime you leave your feet and try to make a pass, you're going to end up with something bad. And that time, Rob Dye forced the situation. Therese Bryson reaches for the ball instead of hitting the floor and grabbing it. Eric Roberson, he's all over the floor, was able to come away and heads-up play, called the timeout.
Reggie Hall now seems to be getting the cobwebs out, heads back to the Bradley huddle. Eric Roberson, a heady senior, obviously, would come down with that ball on the floor and immediately call timeout, knowing there was nothing else he could do with it.
It's plain and simple, a hustle play, and in a game like this, those add up, and Bradley's come out on the winning edge in all those plays tonight. And if they would come away with a loss, that'd be a little unjust for the effort they've put forward.
It reminds me a little bit of the end of last year's game when there was a skirmish in front of the ISU bench with Sean Riley trying to call timeout, and he wound up throwing the ball out of bounds, and Bradley wound up getting possession, and that led to the Rob Dye shot that won the game for the Braves. It's 69-69 with exactly 1 minute to go in this one. Roberson now with bets on him. He's just checked into the game. Here's Cage. Now Dye.
If the Braves use a lot of the shot clock here, too, the Redbirds have a chance possibly with the last shot of the ball game if the Braves miss.
Here's Dye now. Five on the shot clock. In the lane. Stripped from Bryson. And the Redbirds have it now, and the shot clock is off.
Redbirds do have 2 timeouts left, and they'll call one here.
So the Redbirds will have the basketball now, and they'll have perhaps the last shot of the night.
Well, that's a tough play that time. Rob Dye gave up the ball to Roberson, and then Therese Bryson let him have it back, but he recovered well, got a piece of the ball as Dye was trying to go up. Byers gets it tipped out to Therese Bryson, and the Redbirds come away with it. As I said, if the Braves didn't score within that shot clock period, they have a chance for the last shot of the ball game with the score tied, either send it to overtime or come away with the victory.
Well, the shot clock went all the way down to the final seconds, and Dye tried to drive and draw some contact. Jim Molinari wanted a foul. The Bradley bench wanted a foul. But it's the Redbirds with the basketball and 22.9 to go.
Let's see if the Redbirds get any offense going to the basket to create an open shot opportunity. It looks like Bryson may just try to take it himself.
You see the time in the corner now. 10 seconds and counting. We're tied at 69. Bryson working on Roberson. Lost the ball out of bounds, and now Bradley gets it with 3 seconds to go.
Excellent defense by Roberson. Just hounded him the whole way. Dye shut out the pass to Sean Jepson, and Bryson turns the ball over.
The Braves have no timeouts left, so they can't set up a play here. David Selby comes in to replace Jerome Robinson. And now with 3.1 seconds to go, it's Bradley's opportunity to win this thing at the buzzer.
You can't give Dye that much room. You got to get up on him.
Roberson lobs to Dye. He's got to look for 3. It rims in and out, and we're going to overtime.
I thought that was in, Kurt. It wouldn't have surprised me one bit if that ball would have gone in.
Well, Rob Dye did it last year, hitting a shot with a second to go to win the game for the Braves. He had another good look here tonight, Matt.
Yeah, this was a great look with 3 seconds to go, and the ball just kind of runs around the rim and falls out to send this game to overtime. But a great effort that time by the Braves to even get in position to get a clean shot with only 3 seconds to play.
So for the third time in the last 4 meetings between these two teams, we have overtime. The last 2 meetings in Peoria went to overtime, and now this game is in overtime as well.
Yeah, we'll see if the Redbirds have anything left. Again, not as deep as the Braves. Their players have been in the game for more minutes. Therese Bryson especially. They got 5 more minutes to play here in overtime.
There have been 3 overtime games in the Missouri Valley Conference all year long. The home team has won all 3. That, of course, includes Bradley's victory over ISU in January. They'll tip it up, Eddie Cage and Andy Strandmark, and the Redbirds come away with it. It's Sean Jepson. It's a 5-minute overtime period. Each team has an additional timeout. So Bradley has 1 for the entire OT. The Redbirds have 2.
Birds seem to be moving with a little bit more purpose here offensively in the overtime period.
Here's Bryson for 3. It is way short, and it's Roberson the board.
That was good defense that time by Reggie Hall. They got the matchup they wanted with the big man switching out on Bryson. And Hall did a good job of staying with him, get a hand up on the shot.
Dye works the baseline. Contact, no call, and it's Rich Byers coming away with it. And now Bryson on the other end, down. And it's an offensive foul.
Boy, that looked like Ed Cage was moving on the play, but a little bit of a forced shot opportunity that time by Bryson. Watch Cage. Seems to be still moving on the play as he slides underneath Bryson. Bryson's called for the foul on the charge, his 4th foul.
Redbird Arena is up for grabs. 69-69.
Well, may have been a little bit of a makeup call that time, too, as there was a lot of contact at the other end on Rob Dye as he was driving to the basket.
Dye around a screen for 3. Missed it in the far corner, and it's out of bounds to Illinois State. And Eric Roberson's in the second row.
And Dye's getting some good looks. He just, again, playing a lot of minutes in this ball game. As you wear down, not as much legs, and he's falling short on a lot of his shots.
The crowd is still voicing its displeasure over that foul whistled against Therese Bryson. Jepson now gives it up to Strandmark, who's played the entire second half with 4 fouls, and now the overtime, and he draws a foul this time on Ed Cage.
Cage got called with the body that time. Strandmark actually lost control of the shot as he was going up for the little jump hook. Good angle here. Cage catches him on the hip here as he goes up. I think the exaggerated miss may have helped Strandmark that time in drawing the foul.
Strandmark made a big free throw near the end of regulation. He made one and he missed one, which put the Redbirds up by 2. Now he's got a chance to make it 3 out of 4 on the night from the line, and he does. And now Jeff Raby's going to check in for Bradley. He'll give David Selby a breather as Jim Molinari puts some more height in the game. (71-69). The Redbirds in front by a deuce. Rob Dye walks the ball up the floor for Bradley. Now it's Raby with Strandmark on him.
The one thing the Redbirds did when Betts was in the game was they denied the ball to Rob Dye. Therese Bryson is letting Dye get the ball at will.
Reggie Hall missed the half hook. Loose ball on the floor. Illinois State comes away with it. It's Strandmark.
The last 3 possessions, the Redbirds didn't come away with the ball cleanly, but they have come away with the ball, and that's been a difference here in the overtime.
Strandmark now with 6 rebounds to go along with his career high 15 points.
P.J. Smith is really hobbling after that collision in the lane.
Here's Byers now working on Cage. Hands to Bryson around a screen. Bryson's shot is short. It's tipped out, and Roberson comes up with it. His pass is ahead to Rob Dye, who's all alone on the other end.
Yeah, Bryson forcing the issue again offensively. Good recovery that time by Rob Dye.
P.J. Smith's coming out of the game. The official has stopped the game because Smith is limping to the Redbird bench.
Again, watch the hustle here by Roberson. Doesn't give up on the ball, but the Redbirds do. Rob Dye streaks down the floor. Therese Bryson trailing on the play. The easy lay-in to tie this ball game up with 2.5 minutes to go.
So Ryan Crowley has now entered the game for the injured P.J. Smith, who's getting his ankle looked at. Here's Jepson drawing the foul as he worked himself to the baseline.
I was wondering when somebody else on the floor for the Redbirds was going to try to take the ball to the basket. And Therese Bryson has been looked upon to do most of the work for the Redbirds. But here, Sean Jepson gets the angle. Eric Roberson trailing on the play, catches him on the hip. Nice block by Roberson not to allow the three-point opportunity.
And Jepson, who is one of the Redbirds' better free throwers at 85%, clanks the first one off.
Had no legs that time, didn't bend down, and again, as you're in the waning minutes of the ball game, did it again.
He missed them both.
Shot straight up. He did not bend his legs whatsoever.
And we're still tied at 71. This has been a true war on I-74. Overtime in Peoria, overtime in Normal. As we approach the 2-minute mark left in this extra session.
And Dye continues to get the ball way too easily as Bryson's trying to guard him out on the floor.
Roberson, an open look for three, is short. Raby comes down with it. He's stripped. It's Jepson on the floor, and he may have been fouled. He was.
And Jepson, even though he missed the 2 free throws, didn't give up on the play. Raby cleared the rebound and just wasn't strong with the ball. Roberson a little short on the three-point shot. Watch Raby, just is not strong with the ball. Gets stripped from behind by Crowley. Jepson comes away with it and fouled by Roberson.
Fourth foul whistled against Eric Roberson, much to the dismay of Jim Molinari. And now Jepson is back at the foul line where he makes one after mixing 2.
Yeah, he was really shaking his head as he was coming down the floor last time after missing 2 free throws.
Second one on the way is down. And the Redbird lead is 73-71. And a timeout, Bradley. This is a full timeout. So we'll step away and catch our breath. 1:45 to go in the overtime. Don't go anywhere, folks. ISU with a 2-point. Murdoch would love to be playing in this one. In his 2-year career at ISU, he played in 1 ISU Bradley game, and 2 ACL knee surgeries have kept him out of the other 3. But tonight, like the rest of us, he's a spectator, and his Redbirds have a 73-71 lead over Bradley with a 1:45 to go in this overtime.
And I give LD credit. He's been probably their biggest cheerleader on the bench. You know, in his situation, he's not pouting. He's not down on himself because the injury has ended his senior season, but he's trying to help this team work through this tough season they've had.
Bradley will have the basketball after the 2 made 3 free throws from Sean Jepson. Let's set the table for you. Andy Strandmark, Rich Byers, Therese Bryson, Sean Jepson, and Ryan Crowley on the floor for the Redbirds. Reggie Hall, Eric Roberson, Eddie Cage, Rob Dye, and that man, Jerome Robinson, on the floor for the Braves.
The Redbirds look like they're in a box and 1 with Ryan Crowley just shadowing Rob Dye wherever he goes. Key here is if a shot goes up, you got to clear the rebound without your man-to-man responsibilities.
Cage is going to get to the free throw line. Ed Cage, who has taken just 2 shots all night and still looking for his first points of the night, will have some critical foul shots here.
Yeah, again, in a zone situation, you create a lot of seams. Cage takes advantage of that one. Jepson doesn't get over in front of him, picks up the foul. It'll be his 4th foul as well.
What can you say about the Bradley foul shooting tonight?
They've really stepped it up. That's been their weakness in a lot of early ball games. They lost some ball games because of it. They've really stepped it up tonight. We just need to talk about it a little bit more, Kurt, and that'll cause a miss.
Made 1, missed 1, 73-72 Illinois State with the basketball in a 1-point lead now. Minute 15 to go in the OT. Here's Bryson now with 13 on the shot clock. A long 3 on the way is no good. Clanked into the corner.
And again, Reggie Hall switching on the screen, was out on Bryson. Did a good job of getting a hand up to bother the shot.
There's a 20-second differential on the shot clock. So Bradley will have to do something here on this possession. Robinson gives it up. Eddie Cage open. Baseline jumper is good.
Shot clock is off.
Eddie Cage has scored the last 3 points now for the Braves and has given Bradley a 1-point lead, and Tom Richardson calls timeout.
Yeah, I just pointed out in the last timeout that Eddie Cage had not scored in this ball game, and he stepped up here in the last minute with a big free throw, and now a nice shot from about 15 feet on the baseline. And the Redbirds get caught up inside the lane. Andy Strandmark, a little slow recovering out to Eddie Cage. He knocks down a big jump shot.
Cage had a 6-game streak of double-digit scoring snapped on Saturday when the Braves blew out Northern Iowa 80-39. And he has been held scoreless through the 2 periods of regulation, the 2 halves, but here in the overtime, he has 3 points and has given Bradley a 74-73 advantage, and Tom Richardson's team now has a chance again to win this basketball game with 24.9 seconds left here and no time, nothing on the shot clock. It's turned off.
Let's see if the Redbirds learned anything from the end of regulation offensive set and try to take the ball to the basket this time.
Jebsen with 16 now on the clock. You see the time in the corner. It's Bryson with 8. Works on Roberson. Pull-up jumper. It's good.
Stop the ball.
It's Dye all the way down now. Dye down. His shot is up and it's no good. And that's the ball game.
Therese Bryson has fell short on so many times this year at the end of the ball game of hitting a big shot. Tonight, he was rewarded for all those misses, and in a big game against Bradley in overtime, knocks down a big shot. The Braves are now 1-5 in the Valley on the road.
It's been a different hero in every one to you. The final score from Redbird Arena: Illinois State 75, Bradley 74. For Matt Taphorn, this is Kurt Pegler. For our entire CBS 31 staff,